I know like this is online is still kind of the modern way, I would say. We prefer in person. I think the last event was pretty much like a disappointment, like a little bit no show, I would say. But still, I prefer this kind of event as well. Yeah, so as you can see, so we are a Auckland Power Platform user group based in Auckland. So along with me, there are like Hamish and Greg, who is also like Greg is also a co-leader for the same group and kindly accepted to start this. And Hamish is also supporting all the time and promoting some kind of events. Those are all like behind the scene. The area of focus, you can see primarily it is covering all the Power Platform products, especially like Power Apps and Power Pages, those kind of stuff, sometimes in AA Builder and Dataverse. So primarily like all the Power Platform products, but we don't cover the Dynamics thing. And so just as a housekeeping, I would request everyone to go on mute. Also, like this slide deck, which is like from Nathan and Dharani, like once they done their, I think probably they will share that, and I can share this with whomever has attended the event, and I will also post the link at the bottom. So this is the official Auckland Power Platform user group hosted in the Microsoft platform. So I can also send you that link just in case, like if you guys want to know about any future events, right? And the main purpose is, like we do currently like monthly meetups. So far, like it is a big success in online as well as in person. Few events were in person, like it was a good success so far. More than 10 months, it's running successfully, and so our speakers are mostly like key experts in this area. So especially MVPs and then super users and also like people who are working in this field for a long time. So they are contributing to the monthly events. Also, the whole purpose is, to learn and then have fun with the Power Platform. So especially like if you have attended Nathan previous events, like that was so like mind blowing with a lot of information. Some of the products are like really cool. And also we plan to do the hackathons in the upcoming months. So please do participate if you have some downtime. So there are some big events coming in the upcoming months. Also, like if anyone is also interested and willing to speak in the user group, feel free to reach out to me. And today's agenda is very simple. I think the most popular topic currently within the Power Platform, which is like Dataverse Accelerator. So before I jump into the topic and introduce the speaker, so these are all like other active groups available in New Zealand. I would say the first one is ours, Auckland Power Platform User Group, and then there is a Dynamics and Power Platform together by Hamish and Greg, and there are like other leaders as well from Capgemini and Fusion5. So these are all like those leaders are hosting those events. And for Wellington, it is currently led by Rami, and then Christchurch is from Richard Burdiss. So I will post all these links in the chat while the speakers are doing their session. So feel free to register in case if you want to upskill yourself. And today's show is all about the Dataverse Accelerator, which covers the recent one, which is a low-code PowerFX plugins, and you can instantly create PowerFX plugin. In the past, it is like you need to be a .NET developer or a C# developer to perform this operation. Now, Microsoft has made it very simple. So as you can see, like Nathan is a superstar in this area, especially on low-code PowerFX, and then Dharani, obviously, like he's also an MVP and very popular star in the ALM as well as in Power Platform and Dynamics. So both are from Capgemini, and Dharani is based in Australia, and Nathan is from New Zealand, Auckland. Yeah, over to you guys.
Cool. Thanks, Raghavan. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we will crack into it. Okay. Is that coming through for everybody?
Yeah.
Awesome. So welcome to the Dataverse Accelerator app. Durrani and I are going to take you through all things low-code PowerFX plugins today. So quick introductions. I'm Nathan Rose. I'm a lead consultant and Microsoft MVP with Capgemini here in Auckland. And Durrani, do you want to quickly introduce yourself, mate?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Nathan. Hey, all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Since people have joined from the all parts of the world, so I would like to convey the warm welcome. Myself, Dharanidharan Balasubramaniam. People call me Dharani. I work as a principal consultant with Capgemini Australia. I'm Microsoft MVP with the business applications, and I'm organizing the Sydney, Malaysia, and Tamil Nadu Dynamics 365 and Power Platform user group. Yeah, today I'm here with Nathan to speak about the Dataverse Accelerator. Please stay tuned and get lots and lots of information on the Dataverse Accelerator. Yeah, over to you, Nathan. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Durrani. Okay, so quick overview of our time together today. What we'll do is Durrani and I are going to tag team this a bit. So I'll take you all through what PowerFX is, where you can use it. I'll give you a quick overview of low-code plugins, the two basic kinds. Then I'll hand over to Durrani, who's going to take us through a demo of all things low-code plugins. And then we'll wrap up with a bit of a when you should use low-code plugins versus their traditional peers. So if you have a question at any time, feel free to come off mute or drop it in the chat. We like for these to be as interactive as possible so we can all learn. So if there's something that isn't clear, something you don't understand, something you don't agree with, by all means, come off mute and let's talk about it, and let's all learn more about this together. Okay, so first things first. What is PowerFX and where can I use it? So this is the lovely Stegosaurus of PowerFX. PowerFX is Microsoft's low-code formula-based language that's used to customize the Power Platform. It started life in Canvas apps and has since migrated to custom pages and modern commanding in model-driven apps. These are all in GA. You can use them now. And since those features have been developed, PowerFX is now moving into Dataverse. So last year we got PowerFX calculated columns, which let us run all kinds of formulas and calculations on the fly in Dataverse just using formulas. Those are still in preview. And then a few months ago, Microsoft announced low-code plugins, which is still an experimental feature. The planned GA date is sometime later this year, and so this is a huge win for low-code citizen developers, because heretofore we haven't had a way to create synchronous logic without having to write code. So the idea is that these are human-friendly commands that can be used either by citizen or pro devs, and it's very much meant to work exactly like Excel. So that's a quick overview of PowerFX. Now this next slide, if you're a pro dev, you're probably very familiar with this. If you are a citizen dev, a functional consultant, someone who hasn't traditionally gotten involved with pro code, then before you get started with this, you need a quick overview of when should you use plugins. So plugins are used for synchronous business logic, meaning once the process starts, the user can't do anything to the row in question until it's completed. We use them when we need to control when the logic fires, so either before or after a save to Dataverse. There is a hard 2-minute timeout for plugin execution on the Power Platform, so it has to be able to run in under 2 minutes. And we use them whenever our requirements exceed the capabilities of Power Automate and calculated columns and all of our favorite citizen developer low-code tools. Okay, plugins follow what's called the plugin execution pipeline. Again, if you're a pro dev, you'll be intimately familiar with this. There's 4 main stages to it. Pre-validation and pre-operation happen before the database save. Main operation is the actual save to Dataverse. You can't execute logic at that point. And then post-operation happens after the save to Dataverse. Now, our traditional C# plugins that are written by a pro dev can run either pre-validation or pre-operation, or post-operation. The PowerFX plugins run either pre-operation or post-operation. There's no pre-validation option. However, PowerFX does have some powerful if-then conditional logic that you can apply in the formula. So you could make an argument that pre-validation is kind of baked into it. So that's how these work in the plugin execution pipeline. And then we've got there's two types of low-code plugins: instant and automated. The easiest way to think about this is to think Power Automate. Instant runs on demand by a user, so a user interacts with an element in a Canvas app or a custom page, which triggers the plugin to run. Automated is triggered by a CRUD operation in Dataverse. So the instant plugins at the moment are not supported in model-driven apps, so they don't work in modern commanding. You can see them. The plugins will show up if you include the environment table in your modern command editor. The PowerFX formula won't show you any errors, but it won't actually do anything. However, you can call them with Power Automate. So that's something we'll be showing a bit later on, is that you can get around some of these limitations with Power Automate. And then the automated plugins, again, they're triggered based on Dataverse CRUD operations. They can run either pre or post operation. And at the moment, they do have a few limitations. So they don't support creation of rows associated to other rows. They don't appear to support things like delegation. So if you want to search and filter based on a related row, they don't appear to support that at the moment. Your formula in PowerFX won't show any errors or anything like that, but it just won't do what you expect it to do. So those are the two types of plugins that are available to us. So any questions before we continue on? Parvez, you've got a question, mate.
Yes, hi. So you spoke about PowerFX being available in the different areas of the platform now. So are you saying all the full range of functions and commands are available across that range of tools?
Here, let me just go back to the slide. So yeah, so probably, are you talking about all the different functions and whatnot that you can include in the formulas? Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so they are a bit limited in calculated columns and low-code plugins. Not all of them are available. They don't always show you an error message. I've noticed in columns, it won't let you do it. In plugins, if you try to add an unsupported expression, it will give you a little red squiggle and say this isn't supported in low-code plugins. So like, for example, when you create a row using PowerFX from, say, modern commanding or in a Canvas app, you would use patch in association with defaults to create a row. Defaults is not supported in low-code plugins at the moment. So if you add patch and defaults, it'll say, I can't do that. And the way around it is to use collect. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, cool. So it sounds like there are some limitations as to which functions you can use in different areas. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So what I would advise you to do when you're playing with this is I would create, I call it a PowerFX scratchpad, and do it in either a Canvas app or, say, a custom page. Because what I've found is there's times where the low-code plugin isn't doing what I think it should be doing based on the formula logic that I've put in. And what I do is I go to my scratchpad and, say, a Canvas app or a custom page, and if the formula does what I expect it to do there, then I'm like, okay, this must be a limitation of low-code plugins versus I got the formula wrong or something like that. So it's probably a good idea to just have that on the side as you're working through the
Cool.
various
Makes
functions.
sense.
Cool.
Thanks for that.
No
one
worries.
of the question I had was
Yeah.
around, so if you had, say, a pro code plugin and a low code plugin, both executing on the same platform operation and the same stage of the pipeline, would they play nicely together? Which one would run first, etc., etc.?
That's a really good question, mate. I have not. I'm not a pro code dev, so yeah, I've not tried it, but yeah, Raghavan, Durrani, we might have to take this one offline, guys, and have one of you write a plugin, and we'll see what happens. Could be a cool video to share. So yeah, it's a really good question, Parvez. Thanks for that, mate. Yeah, it's something I haven't tried yet. One thing that you can't do, we'll get into this in a bit, but with the automated plugins, you can only have one per table at the moment. If you have multiple, even if one's running pre-operation and one's running post-operation, you'll get illegal thread switch errors. So I haven't tried it for a few weeks, but that's what I was getting the last time I tried it. So I'm not sure if they've sorted that out yet.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Any other questions before we continue on?
All good. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we're about to get to the fun part, and I'm going to hand over to Durrani to take us through the demo. Before we do, as much as I love playing with the new stuff, we do have to be responsible and give you a massive disclaimer here. So the low-code PowerFX plugins are an experimental feature. This means that at any time and without prior warning, the feature could change substantially or just disappear altogether. So this means a few things. Firstly, don't use this in any environment that isn't a personal dev or trial environment. So don't put it in prod or UAT or anything like that. And I would not incorporate these in any current solution design. So they're looking at having this go GA sometime later this year, but again, that's not set in stone. So I'd be careful about including it in any current solution designs. That being said, you absolutely should use these in your personal dev and trial environments, and try them out with current requirements that you're working on. See what they can do, see where they fall short, where the gaps are. It's the best way to get your head around these, because they are coming they are coming pretty quickly, and they're going to be something that's available to us in our toolkit. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Durrani for the best part of today, which is the demo. It's going to take us all through the Dataverse Accelerator app, instant and automated plugins, and then I'll take us through SQL and plugins, as well as Power Automate and plugins, just to be slightly irresponsible today. So Durrani, I'll hand over to you, mate.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks for giving the detailed walkthrough of the Dataverse Accelerator app.
Yep.
And then like you have deeply explained about like the instant plugins and the automated plugins. Now we will deep dive into all those, and we'll see like in my environment how that instant plugins and the automated plugins are going to work. So before jumping into the demo, first let's see like how you can install the Dataverse Accelerator into your tenant. For today's demo, like I'm going to install the Dataverse Accelerator in my personal tenant. So I just put the Dataverse Accelerator in Google, then it will take me to the appsource.microsoft.com. So here you'll be able to see the Dataverse Accelerator, and if you want to install it into your instance, then please click on Get It Now. Then it will ask you to put your email address, the work or the school account. Then as soon as if you put the work or the school account, and then if you click on sign in, then it will take you to this page where you can see this. So it will go to the admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com, and you'll be able to see this, the pop-up over here, and it will ask you to select which environment you want to install the Dataverse Accelerator. Now I will select the one of my environment. I don't have access to install it there. Yeah, so I have selected this environment, and if I click on agree, and then if I click on install, then it will start installing the Dataverse Accelerator in my particular environment. Okay, so you can see here, so it has started installing this one. So it will take some couple of minutes, and you'll be able to check the status from here. So it's installing. It will take like few more minutes, and then this will get installed into your environment. With the interest of time, I have already installed in one of the other environment, so I will take the demo from there. So I will move to the make.powerapps.com. Yeah, so if I go to the make.powerapps.com, as soon as once this gets installed, then you'll be able to see the Dataverse Accelerator in your make.powerapps.com. If you navigate to the apps, then under the apps, you'll be able to see the Dataverse Accelerator app. Okay, then if you click on these three dots and if you click on this play button, then it will take you to the Dataverse Accelerator app. So here, so it has like in the side menu, you can see like three options like overview, plugin, and the learn. So in the overview, like they have given the privilege to create both the instant and the automated plugins. So here you can create the instant plugins and the automated plugins, and there are some of the samples. So the Microsoft has already given, so you can go through this one. And then if you click on the plugins, and once the plugin gets created, then you will be able to see all the created plugins here. So basically like two tabs will be there, instant and automated one. So the instant one, you will be able to see all the on-demand plugins. The instant, the name itself says like it's an instant one, it's an on-demand ones. And automated ones is a event-based trigger. You can write the plugin on create, update, on deletion. So all those scenarios you'll be able to, if you want to write any logic on the event-based trigger, then you just go with the automated one. And if your scenario want to do it on demand, then go with the instant plugins. And this instant plugins can be called from the Canvas app and also from the Power Automate. So for today's demo, like I will pick like a very basic scenario, like addition of two numbers and the 4-number validation. I will take like a very basic scenario and I will create one instant plugin and I will show you like how you can use this instant plugin in both the Canvas app and also in the Power Automate. Similarly, like I will create one automated plugin and I will show you like how you can use this from the model driven application side. Okay. Now, first, let me start with the instant plugins. The instant plugin, if you want to create a new one, then click on this and it will take you to the instant plugin create page. So here you'll be able to see it. And here you will get an option to select the solutions also. So for example, if you have multiple solution and if this wants to be part of any solution, then you can ask the flip it over here to your particular solution. And here's the basic details. So I will just put the here, there are two fields are mandatory, the display name and the description. So I just put the calculate sum. I just go with some addition of two numbers. So I'll put the calculate sum, and if I click on the next, then for addition of two numbers, basically we need the three parameters. So I just go with the two input parameter. So I will just call this as a x, and it should be an integer number. And let me declare the another parameter. So I just go with the y. And I will sum up these two numbers and I will put it into one output parameter. So I will create an output parameter called result and I will declare this as an integer. So now I have declared all these three parameters. Now I will just write an expression now to do this logic. So here the variables it will come. I just put it like
just to quickly break in, Durrani. For those of you who are using output expressions in the instant plugins, if you see where the Z is, you have to declare that. So I struggled with this last week, and it's not super obvious that you have to do that. But if you don't, you won't get anything in your output parameter. So sorry, Durrani.
yeah, no worries. So I have built the expression now. So after building the expression, then if you click on next, then this will save. It will go for the review page. You'll be able to see the display name, description, and which solution it is part of. And then your expression also will be seen here. And then if you click on the save button, then it will take you to the run page, the test page. So where you can manually feed in the input parameters. And if you click on run button, then this will, what all the expressions we have given, based on that, it will calculate and show the desired output. It's taking a few minutes, just bear with me.
What it's actually doing in the background is it's actually compiling C# on the fly.
Yeah. Yeah, so it got saved. I'm taking you to the test page. So here is the test page. So you can see the test page here. Like here, you can see the input parameter. I'll just give the input parameters 50 and y as a 50. And if I click on the run button, then it will calculate and show you the response here. Sure. It has shown some error in the previous game, maybe because of that it's breaking once again. We have seen some error before we were saving it. I think that error has caused some issue in the system. So that's the reason the calculation was not working. So I'm just going back and I have updated that expression once again. Trying to save this. Let's see this time whether
Yeah,
it
the
is working or
expression's
not.
correct. Yeah, it's an experimental function. So again, sometimes you see a little bit of weirdness.
Yeah. Yeah, so let it save. So in the interest of time, I will show you how you can use this expression in the Canvas app and also in the Power Automate. In the Canvas app, we do have an environment. So how you can access this PowerFX formulas using through the environments. So it will store as a value in the environment variable. So if you access the environments in the environments, so you'll be able to see your PowerFX formula over there. So with that, you will be able to use it in the Canvas app. So as soon as this gets loaded, I will quickly show you how this formula can be used in the Power Automate, the Power Apps. I'm not sure, still it is giving some error, but let me try to run this and see whether it is working or not.
Do you have another one that you created earlier that we can show? Because it looks like there's a problem with.
I don't have any. I just before some time I have deleted it.
If you go to
let me open the
what is
existing
on the top? Then there is a banner showing new version of this app is available. Is that something you need to refresh?
Maybe. Let me see.
Because in Power Pages, usually it does normally if there is an old cache somewhere, probably
Maybe see I'm trying to install this one in one of the environment, right? It is creating some deadlock. So that's the reason I'm able to see some SQL deadlock related error message. Yeah, I think this got installed. I don't think so now it will create an issue, but let me quickly see. I'll try to create one. I will try to create the expression one more time, and then we'll see. See, one of the input parameter.
Oh, there's an error. Here. There's an error in your formula.
Yeah, because this input parameter got disappeared, Nathan. So that's the reason there's error in the formula.
Yep.
Yeah, so similarly, how we can, now I think this got succeeded. Now we'll quickly see here. Just put 50 and 50 here.
Pray to the demo gods.
Yeah, you can see the result here. Finally, yeah.
Yep.
You can see the results here. And here itself, you can see an option called integrate. And if you click on this integrate, then here in this page, so they have shown how you can invoke this particular instant plugin from the Power Platform area, especially in the Power Apps and the Power Automate. So you can see here, you need to add the Dataverse table, the environments as a data source inside your Canvas app. Then So wherever you want to call this particular instant plugin, add a button and invoke it from there using the PowerFX expression, then it will you can call this this plugin from the Canvas app. So I will quickly create one Canvas app and I will show you like how you can invoke this from there. I just create one empty app. I will add a 2 text box and 1 label. Just go to the insert, text input. And here I will add 1 more text input. Just change this as a text X. And I will remove this default text. I'll just put the center the first digit. Similarly, like for this, I will change it as a text Y. I will remove the default text. I will add the hint text as preset of the second digit. I will put a label. And this results, we will show it with this label. And I will also add a button here. Just change this as a calculate. Yeah, calculate sum. So here we need to go and add the data source. Now I'm adding the environments. As soon as you add the environments, then you will be able to get all your instant like formulas inside the instant plugins inside. So this got added now. On select, just put environment dot. If you put a dot here, then you'll be able to get all the instant plugins which is there. So here you can go to the instant plugin. Here they have shown you like it will be there in this particular theme. Then if you copy this and if you put it here, yeah, you can see the calculated sum. Now here they have shown like how you can define the input parameter here. So I'm just going to define the input parameter now. So the X is txt X dot text, comma Y txt Y dot text. You need to put this curly braces and then close this one. So now this got appended. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to get this the output into a new variable. I will keep it in C or yeah, I will keep it at this variable. And then if I go here, I have this variable now. So you can see there's that here in this variable. So I have added this one. Now I will quickly save this one and I will play this. So you can see here, I will put the 100. If I click on calculate, then we should be able to see the response here. So this is how how you can call the instant plugins inside the Canvas app. Now let me quickly show how you can add the instant plugins inside your Power Automate. So in order to navigate to Power Automate.
And that was amazingly fast, Durrani, in terms of that calculation in the Canvas app. That was really, really fast.
Yeah, or else like we need to like I just have taken a simple scenario with the calculation of two numbers, even like lots and lots of complex scenarios, you will be able to easily achieve with the help of this instant plugins with a fraction of minutes, you'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I have navigated to the make.powerautomate.com. Now I will just go ahead and create one new the instant cloud flow. So I will manually trigger a cloud flow. I will pass it to integer numbers. Just keep this as a X and this as a Y. Now, if you want to call the cloud flow, if you want to call the instant plugins from the Power Automate, then if you go to the Dataverse, then you will see a connector called perform an unbound action. So if you select that, then from here, you will be able to see your action name here. This will, what are the instant plugins you are creating, that will come as an unbound action. So action in the dynamics, the Dataverse. So you'll be able to see if you add this performance unbound action connector in the action name, you will be able to see this one. So I just put the calculate sum. So we can see the calculate sum here. So I have selected, so it is asking to select those two variables. I'm selecting those two variables. I have selected the two variables X and Y. I just put a compose. Yeah, so here you can see the response set. I'm adding the set here. Just saving this one.
We got a question from Parvez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
I don't want
Parvesh.
to disrupt the. Sorry, I don't want to disrupt the flow of your presentation. But I just noticed that in the designer when you were testing, there was an OData based URL that was surfaced in the output. So it just made me think under the hood, is it being implemented as a custom action? But your demo here in the Cloudflow, I think that confirms that suspicion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's showing raw data. Yeah.
Yeah, that's giving the data. So you can see the response here now. So I have passed like to the input value 50 and 15 and X and Y, and you can see the response here as 100. Yeah, so you can see the response. This is how you will be getting the response. So this is how how you can hook the instant plugins inside your Power Automate. So inside the Canvas app, you will be using you need to add the data source environment data source, but whereas here you can hook the instant plugins inside the Power Automate with the help of perform an unbound action connector, which is available in the Power Automate. Yeah. Now let me quickly go to the automated plugins. I will go to the apps and I can go to the Dataverse Accelerator app. So what are all the plugins you are creating? So it would be listed under here in this plugins page. You will be the one which I have created. You can see it here. Then it's under the instant plugins. Now I will quickly create the automated plugin, and I will show you how you can use this automated plugin inside the model-driven application. I will take a simple scenario like the phone number validation, the length of the phone number validation. So I just keep it very simple on create of a contact. I will do the phone number validation. So run this plugin when the new row is created. So these are all the triggers at the time of creation, updation, deletion. So you can create it. Here you will get the flexibility to select all the tables. So you can select it. And as I mentioned in the instant plugins, here you will get an option to flip it for the solutions. So you can see a drop down over here. And now let me write a formula here. I will just check the length of phone number is less than 10, then I will show some error message. So the length, so this record shows that particular current record. So I'm just putting this record dot phone number. So you can see the phone number here. Phone number is less than 0. And I just saw some error message. Yeah, you can see the error message. The phone number must be 10 digit. Yeah, so I need to close the parenthesis. So once I close this, yeah, that's it. This is a simple validation in the using automated plugin. You don't need to write any code. Just within the fraction of seconds with the formula, you'll be able to keep the validations, and you can build like what all the things you wanted to keep it automated on the event-based trigger. Then using the automated plugin, you will be able to do it. I have clicked on the save, and this plugin got saved successfully now. Now let me take you inside the model-driven application, and we'll try to create a contact from there, and we'll give the phone number, the less than 10 digits, and then we'll see like whether this error is throwing or not. So I am inside the model-driven application now. I'm inside the field service app, the contact entity. So I just create a contact as Nathan Rose. I just put the phone number with some 3 or 4 characters, and if I try to click on save, then this will throw the error here. Let's see. Does not allow one. I think this is also one. Let me refresh it.
You need to do a publish.
Yeah. Let me do a publish once. Yeah, still publishing. It will take a fraction of a second. Let it publish, and then we'll see.
You want to look in your plugin and see if it's running post operation.
Yeah.
I've found when
Yeah.
you change them to run pre-operation, for some reason it works a little better.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, and I think it defaults to post, but I could be wrong.
It got published, but let me quickly see. I have one name there. I'm not sure whether the right field I have mapped. It's the right field.
Click on advanced options.
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. I think.
And scroll down. Yeah, change it to pre-operation. Let's see if that. I've found for some reason that works a little better.
Yeah, I have changed it to pre-operation. Let me publish it one more time.
I think you need to change the if condition to check length less than 10 instead of less than 0.
Okay. I thought like I have written 10 there. See. I have overlooked it. I'm sorry for that.
No worries.
Yeah, see. Catch. So I just try to create a new one now. I'm not sure. Still, something is.
Yeah, I've had some issues with the error commands. So I don't get errors in my plugin, but it doesn't do what I think it's meant to do.
Yeah, but
So
Do you need
I'm
a
not,
hard refresh, Dharani?
yeah, I'm publishing it once again. Let this publish gets complete, and then I will do a hard refresh, and then I will try to create a new contract. Let's wait for this publish to get complete.
When is it going in GA, Nathan? Is it planned on October? No,
planned to be December. That's what I've seen in the
Yeah.
docs.
planned to be December.
Yeah. That feels a bit aggressive to me. So I don't know, am I allowed to say that? But yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it needs a little more what's the right word? Refinement before it's kind of ready for prime time.
Not sure. Some problem is there with
Yeah, I
respect to
think
this
it's
plugin.
I think it's that error one, mate. I think it's I don't think it does what we think it should do in the plugin, because I've tried to play with it a few times and it hasn't worked for me either. So
But yeah, even
so
the same
I wouldn't
scenario, like I
stress.
have tried couple of minutes back and it was throwing me on proper error, but I'm not sure
Okay.
like why it is. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's fine. It's still in preview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me give it a try one last time. Let's see.
Right of the demo gods.
Still no luck. Sorry, guys.
No. Does it matter whether it's a pre or post operation? Because usually.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It should throw the error. Even if it is a pre or post operation, it should throw the error.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see here. It got changed because I don't know what's wrong with this.
It will when you go back to edit them, it will show a red squiggle.
No, we have given the phone number, but it got changed to the business too. Have you noticed it, Nathan?
Yeah, I have noticed weird things like that. Like it will change things or it will give a red squiggle even when there's nothing wrong. And if you just hit the space bar in that edit canvas, it'll go away. So again, it's an experimental feature. So, I mean, we all kind of know what to expect, but yeah, it's so that's why I say I think the December timeline is a bit aggressive, but Yeah, the one thing that I for the automated ones that I can put hand on heart and say they're really useful for is setting the name column. So when you've got a name column that the user doesn't interact with, traditionally we've used real-time workflows for those. They are super useful for setting those values.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nathan, that would be a great use case for something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon that's probably the thing that may finally get them to deprecate classic workflow. So
Yeah. Yeah, we
but
always
that's just
build
my
a
personal
classic.
opinion.
Yeah, even I also felt
Yeah.
the same thing, Nathan. Like you see today, see whenever like if you want to populate the name column, then we built a classic workflow concatenate two values and put it there. But by doing this, it's within a fraction of a second we'll be able to do it. We don't need to open the classic workflow and do all those stuffs there. It's pretty straightforward formula. Yeah.
Yeah. Bruce, I've tried that populating a field with an error message, and that doesn't work for me either. So I've tried saying if an error, then do this patch statement, and that I won't get an error in the plugin. In theory, I think it runs, but it doesn't execute the patch statement. So that's why, yeah, they're meant to do that kind of error handling, but so we either don't understand how we're meant to use these functions in it, or it doesn't support it. I can't quite work out which one it is. So yeah, because I've wanted to do a post on that, but I've not had any luck with it.
Yeah, but I think still there is some issue with the formula. It got reverted back to business 2 again. But I have written the formula on the phone number.
Yeah. Is there a business 2 on your form?
No, nothing. It's a plain vanilla instance, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Could you try like just a string field, right? Something really.
Yeah,
really,
like setting a name column or.
Yeah, something like account name, which is very unlikely to have any special.
Yeah. Parvez, you've got a question, mate?
Yeah, sorry, I was just wondering, curious as to how these actually surface within the Solution Explorer. Do they actually appear as proper plugin assemblies and SDK message processing steps, or do you get a custom action? What does it look like?
Yeah, good question. So
I'm built to the solutions, Nathan. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, do you need me to talk you through this, Durrani, or do you?
Yeah, you can take it up, Nathan.
Yep. So if you go into the solution, there is. It's a bit easier when you've got a custom solution, not the default. But there's something called a plugin step, Parvez.
Yes.
And it looks like it's different than the plugin assemblies that we're used to. So the first thing you'll see there, the FX expression, that's how the instant plugins come in. They come in as an instant expression. And then Durrani, if you scroll down through the solution, you should see sometimes it takes a few minutes for it to come in. There's something called a plugin step. If you go to add existing in the top ribbon and click on more, there is, plugin step. So you see you've got plugin assembly. That's your traditional plugin. And then plugin step are these low code ones, although it looks like it's got some traditional ones there as well. So
yeah, I was going to say, isn't that the same ones that we've had for traditional plugins as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a pro code dev, so I'm kind of going out on a limb here.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I want to be careful not to make myself look too stupid. But
no, that's
yeah.
cool. I was just curious because obviously, if they're fully solution aware, you want to include these in your solution and get the whole A&M going around it as well.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Go ahead, mate.
Another question I had was, so in the earlier slides you mentioned that the instant plugins can't be integrated into a model-driven app, if I understood that correctly. Given that we've established that under the hood they actually surface as a custom action, could you then potentially write your own JavaScript triggered off a command bar button, for example, to invoke it anyway? Would that be a workaround for that?
Yeah, mate, if you try that, I'd be really keen to know what happens, because so what I've done is I've created the instant plugins, and then I go in and I create a modern command to execute it. And if you add that environment table, you'll see the plugin. And so you'll say, you'll write your PowerApps expression, you'll say environment, and you'll put in your input parameters and all that. And you'll get, you won't get any errors or anything like that. Once you publish it and you execute it, nothing happens. So,
Right.
and I can't remember, I tried to prove this to myself, because part of me was like, is it actually, executing it? And I think I tried this with one of the stored procedures that I have that writes to a SQL table, and it's not calling it at all. So it's just not, yeah, it's really weird. It's like they just don't see it. And it doesn't make any sense, because it's like it totally works the same way as calling it in a Canvas app. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But yeah, I haven't looked at it in a few weeks, so it might have changed.
Okay.
And I'd be curious to hear what happens if you write JavaScript, if that works, because it doesn't work with the modern command, or it didn't when I last tried it. So
Okay. All right. No worries.
yeah, Amit, you've got a question?
Yeah, sorry, I'm driving right now. Just a short
Yep,
question
be
about this
careful.
plugin. Thank you. About the plugin trace that you get with the Pro code. Do you get that as well here in the low code?
The plugin, sorry, I didn't hear that.
The
The
plugin
plugin
trace,
trace.
like a logs.
Phrase.
The plugin trace
Trace.
logs.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
trace logs. Yeah, you don't appear to. So when the plugin, so if an automated plugin errors, you will get a, you do get the ability to download, something to your notepad, and so you'll get that. It
But then,
doesn't appear to create a. Sorry, go ahead, Durrani.
yeah, it will be there in the plugin trace logs as well, Nathan, like the automated plugins one.
Okay, does it do that for you? Because when I tried it, again, I tried this this was like a few months ago when it first came out. It didn't. So, and I tried creating kind of my own, saying, all right, if you have an error, write to this table, and I haven't been able to get it to work for me. So, and to be fair, I put it to the side and haven't looked at it for a while. So,
Got it.
yeah. So you've seen it do that, Durrani?
Yes, I have enabled the
Okay.
normal auditing, the plugin auditing, and I have enabled it for this particular entity. Then I
Okay.
was able to see the error logs for this particular table in the plugin trace logs.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it
Perfect.
sounds like it does. Yeah. So I'll go back and have a play with it,
Thanks.
because I didn't know that. Yeah.
Hey guys, just conscious of time.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
I
Yeah,
could talk about this all night, mate.
yeah, all good, Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah. So Durrani, anything else that you want to take us through, mate?
No, all good, Nathan.
Okay.
Yeah, over to
Cool.
you.
Yeah. Just conscious of the time. Yeah. So we'll just here. I'll just share my screen and we'll just wrap up. I was going to take us through the calling SQL from low code plugins, but it pretty much works exactly the same way as an instant plugin. The only difference is you have to write a stored procedure to call in SQL. So let me just go ahead and.
Do you have a tutorial for that in your channel?
I do.
YouTube channel?
Yep. Yeah.
All right,
So
yeah.
just flick through to. Yeah. So when should you use these? So at the moment, you got to wait till they go GA. So by all means, use them in your dev and test environments, personal ones, but don't use them in any higher environments than that. They're great for synchronous logic that executes in under 2 minutes when you need to process pre or post operation for an automated plugin, and they're great for if the PowerApps function that you're using is supported in low-code plugins. Otherwise, traditional C# plugins are your go-to for now until these go GA. And again, synchronous logic under 2 minutes. The traditional plugins do handle pre-validation, which low-code plugins don't. And traditional plugins do all that good stuff, like allow multiple plugins on the table. You can sequence them, error tracing, and they can run async. There are some ways around it with low-code plugins and Power Automate, but for now, if you need any of these things, then traditional plugins are your friend. So yeah, so that's that brings us to the end. Yeah, I know we're running over time, but does anybody have any questions?
Do you have something on your channel about calling actions from a low-code plugin? I was just wondering if I have an existing action that I would like to be called. So I have a synchronous workflow which I want to replace with a low-code plugin.
Yep.
And that synchronous workflow is calling an action which I would like to be done through the low-code plugin.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good question. I've not done a lot with actions. So yeah, so you want to keep the existing action and then just call it from a low-code plugin? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Even I haven't tried it, Nathan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't tried it either. So
I'll try that. No worries.
yeah, and yeah, yeah, tag me on LinkedIn and let me know how you get on with it, because I'm curious to some of this. Since I'm not a pro coder by trade, some of this stuff is a bit out of my reach. But yeah, for those of you who can do those things, have a play with it and let me know how it goes, because I'm really keen to know what happens. So yeah, Parvez, you've got your hand up, mate.
Yeah, sorry, last question from me, hopefully. Not question, more of an observation, really. I'm seeing kind of similarities here to, say, something like business rules compared to JavaScript. So I think for simple use cases, I think this would be great. But as soon as you want to start do something more advanced, then my gut feeling is you probably have to revert back to the old traditional plugins. I'm just thinking out loud, observation, really.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah. Over time, I think they've got big plans to grow this feature. At least I hope they do, because I'd love to be able to do more and more with it. But I think you're right. For now, it's that's a pretty good analogy. So yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
I think all cool. Thank you, guys. Again, I think a very informative session. So I think still it's a demanding one in terms of like people want to achieve in Power Platform. So honestly, like a great session from both of you, Nathan and Dharani. Yeah, I have already shared your YouTube channel. I think possibly like if you have any specific use case, like clearing out all the, like with the demo god, if it is all working, then feel free to share that as well. Yeah, and then I will be in touch with you to get the slides and then share it with the group again. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And
thanks a lot,
Peter and Parvez, thanks for getting up early, guys. You definitely get the medal.
Thank you.
Thanks once again, Raghavan, for providing us this wonderful opportunity, and thanks everyone for joining today. Thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers,
thanks,
bye.
Durrani. Awesome demo, mate.